So tonight I'm out here with Ashanti. Ashanti, how old are you?
I am 18 years old, sir.
How old are you?
18 years old.
And Ashanti, how long have you been using blues and out here homeless?
I have been using blues for about 3.5, 4 years, sir, on and off, honestly. And I have been homeless for about 1.5 years now.
And how did you get started with using blues at such a young age?
Hanging out with the wrong crowd, sir, being on the streets.
So I'm back with Ashanti. Where's your cat at?
It's still over there on 59th, in my home garage. Anita, actually, Flora, you know her. She's taking care of my cat. Yeah.
Your friend Flora is taking care of your cat?
Yeah.
Okay, I talked to her about a couple weeks ago, Flora. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And so what happened? What made you come to this side of town? You're on the opposite side of town than normal.
Just cops making threats towards all the homeless over there, saying they catch us, you know, basically loitering or hanging out in certain areas, for example, at McDonald's or at the park, that every day they're going to continue to threaten each and every one of us that they catch just loitering in places. So, and they actually ended up harassing me, threatening me to the point to where they ended up taking my bags and my belongings. So I'm just not going to be putting up with that anymore, you know.
So it's they're telling you to kind of leave the park, or what? When you're at a park for too long, they say, hey, you got to get out of here. And
yeah, apparently, I guess, supposedly from what I heard from the police, there's a lot getting ready to get passed about the homeless. There's, you know, if there's still homeless people, it's going to become illegal to the point of where the cops could do whatever the fuck they want with them. You know what I'm saying? If they want to throw the homeless people in jail, they could throw the homeless people in jail. Or if they want to just, you know, make it a whole war and just start shooting everybody, I wouldn't be surprised, you know? So it's like they're already starting to prepare for that in Glendale.
Okay. Yeah. I think they're just trying to clean up the drugs and the trespassing, all the trash that's caused.
Well, the OGs do a pretty good job of picking up the trash in the park, but the drug part, they're just making it worse. So they're just getting, you know, the percentage of, you know, how to say, the drugs that are out there and the amount of drugs and the people that are selling drugs is just getting higher. You know what I'm saying? The cops act like the homeless or whoever, human beings in general, aren't like 3 steps ahead of their game. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad because they swear that they're doing their job and that they're all about the community, but it's not looking like that so much, you know?
Okay. So what do you think the answer is? Just let people do whatever they want to do? And
I mean, not necessarily that, but communication is key, you know what I'm saying? People's feelings, and especially as a human being, and us all being equal as humans, regardless of our skin color, they should, like, at least take people's opinions and, like, do, like, what do they call those, what's it called, a petition? Like people take votes?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And just, like, you know what I'm saying? Just listen to the community for once, or every once in a while, you know, and just try to work with the homeless or something instead of just sitting here harassing us, taking our things, and threatening us, and just finding any and every little reason to you know? Because obviously violence, whether it's verbally or physically, is never going to be the answer. It's just going to make people hate the cops more, you know? Especially when they're shooting innocent people or taking them in for absolutely nothing. Just because we're sitting on at the park and they're sitting at urban camp. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But no, definitely not let them do whatever they want, because where's that going to get anybody? You know what I'm saying? It's probably just going to worsen things, to be honest, if it were to get to that point. But I doubt it will, you know.
Speaking of the community, the actual parents, the moms, the dads that want to take their children to the park, enjoy the park, they can't take their little kids to the park. Why? Because the homeless, it's not really homeless, it's really people battling addiction. They're homeless, right, taking over parks. There's needles, there's foil, straws, drugs laying everywhere. And so that affects the quality of life for the community, right? So do you see that point where parents are going to the police department and saying, hey, what are you guys doing about this? So it's not the police being like a Gestapo. I think it's the police listening to the community, saying, right, hey, moms and dads, we hear you. We're gonna go out there and try to not make it comfortable for these people battling addiction to just take over a community, the park or outside of a business, because they have feelings or emotions and they need to be heard. What the police are saying, what the community is saying, the moms and dads, the children are saying, like, man, those people should go get help. Right? Go get help. Go to treatment. Right? Go get a job. Get clean. Be a productive member of society.
And then you don't
have to worry about anybody telling you kind of leave a park, because you're gonna be at home. You're gonna be at your apartment. You're gonna be paying bills, contributing to the community. So what are your thoughts on that, where the moms and dads are going to the police departments and saying, we're sick of this, where you guys aren't doing anything? Can you guys go and tell the homeless people are taking, I can't take my kids to the park, can you go tell them to kind of go somewhere else?
I mean, I personally don't have any kids, but I do understand from the parents' perspective. You know, I try to put myself in their shoes every time I see them coming to the park with the kids. And when I do see them walking through the park with the kids, you know, whether I'm the one smoking or not, or it's people around me smoking, I tell them, you know, have some respect. There's kids walking through. But that's besides what you're asking. But that's kind of why all the OGs, we moved all of us to one side of the park, which is the front side of the park. Even though that's the one with the biggest playground for the children, nobody's been across the street to the airplane park for that same exact reason, for the kids to be able to go over there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why that side's been dead and you know what I'm saying, ghosted. But yeah, I totally understand where they're coming from when it comes to the parents. You know, because if I had kids, I wouldn't want my kids to see that shit either. You know?
Yeah, so I think that's where it's coming from. You know, it's really.
I didn't think about that honestly, but.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah, the parents are literally going to police departments, not just Glendale, but Phoenix and Tempe and everywhere, and saying, "What are you guys doing about this, man?" You know, it's affecting the quality of life of working men and women in the community, right? They can't go to the store, to Circle K, because you got 2-3 people out there, you know, asking for handouts or panhandling and people breaking into their cars and stuff like that, right? So it does affect people, right? Even though, you know, you might be a little bit biased, right? But it does affect people, and that's kind of where it comes from. So so what do you think the answer is going to be, Ashanti? What has to happen?
I honestly wouldn't know personally, but all I can say is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, you know? Yeah. Anything's possible, and, you know, I don't know, but everyone deserves to, you know, have a good life, live a good life, and, you know, make it to the farthest position possible in life, and hopefully outcome what they're going through, including myself, you know.
Are you living a good life right now?
Mentally, no. Physically, obviously, no. But if I manifest it into existence, I'm pretty sure I can do it, and, you know what I'm saying, get through what I'm going through. But I don't know. Probably wouldn't say yes, but then I probably wouldn't say no, so probably like in the middle, you know. The
things you're going through right now, and the things you've been going through for a while, because I met you when you were like 18 or 19. You're what, 21 now, right? So you've been at least a few years that I've known you've been going through this, living this way.
And nothing's changed,
If you were to point the finger, would you say it's the police that have you out here? It's the government? Who has you out here?
I mean, I wouldn't. The cops know, obviously, because they have no control of me living anywhere. But the government, in a way, yes, because from what I'm hearing and obviously seeing, they're starting to shut down all the sobriety houses, so that kind of makes shit worse and puts me in a tougher position. The fact that I can't get into one now because they're shutting them all down, supposedly for fraud, but I wouldn't say it's entirely the government's fault, but honestly, it's only me and my decisions and my actions, you know what I'm saying? Because I made the decision to choose the drugs and eventually run away from my mom's house, or if I was at a group home at the time, you know what I'm saying, or AWOL, you know? But only I can change my life around. Only I can make the decision. Everybody can want it for me, but they can't change it. You know what I'm saying? Change my life or force me to change. Only I can make that decision for myself. I'm still kind of stuck in that like denial mindset, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of still doubt that I'd be able to make it anywhere in life, and I doubt myself because of my personal insecurities, but still not an excuse like everybody says, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. It's always good to take accountability for your actions, right? Or where you're at. It really comes down to the individual, right? It's not a conspiracy out there to kind of, you know, make life hard for you. It's not racism. It's not a lack of opportunity. It really isn't. You said they're shutting down all the treatment centers. I can tell you that's factually incorrect. They're shutting down the fake treatment centers, which is good, it isn't many.
When you say treatment centers, it means sobriety houses.
Sobriety houses, treatment centers.
I'm like, that's two different things, Art.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So sobriety houses, treatment centers, roll them up into one for the sake of the conversation. They're not being shut down. Okay, I can give you a long list, 100 of them that are still open right now.
That'd be great.
Yeah, which ones are you going to when I give you the list of the 100 that are open, that are legitimate, not frauds? Are you ready to go soon or what?
Most definitely with this day. I mean, to be honest, I can't take it. I can't. It's
Too hot?
too hot. Like, my shoes are starting to melt at the bottom. It's sad, you know? Like they say, you could cook a fucking omelet or egg on the sidewalk. You could probably make a, I don't know, what do you say, like on a salad or something on the sidewalk. That's just how hot it's getting, you know? And someone's gonna end up eventually. We already had one people die at the park. One person, an old lady named Michelle, she passed away from a heat stroke. So just imagine where I could end up being out here, you know? And especially right now, since it's summer. That's something I'm most definitely trying to prevent, you know?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be out here, and this isn't your first summer. You've been out many summers, right?
Yeah, but the last ones I want to say was as hard as this one for some reason. Like my body is reacting differently, and the other ones I was obviously still on drugs and out here on the streets. But I don't know. I guess it didn't hit me as hard this summer, this year. You know, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but
okay. Just please stay safe. Continue to try to get better, get well. It's unfortunate that they kicked you out of the park over there, but you know, you got to understand kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to, trying to clean it up and make it better for the community, right? Even if it comes at a disadvantage for you and your group of friends, right? So it's for the greater good. So Ashanti, thank you very much for talking to me. I really appreciate you. I was over here on this side of town again. You're on the opposite end of town. I've never seen you on this side of town ever. You're very far from where you normally have been for the past 3 years that I've been talking to you. Okay, so but I'm glad you're alive. Speaking of Flora, her boyfriend Roberto passed away. Was it October?
I believe so. Overdosed.
So about 9 months ago, whatever. He passed away, OD'd, went to the hospital, didn't come out. So he was doing the same thing you're doing. He was doing the same thing Flora's doing. So it could maybe your body is reacting this summer differently than it's been, because it's just saying, hey, I'm getting tired of this. You're putting me through too much. The blues and the heat, that's a horrible combination. Right, that lady that passed away from a heat stroke, it was probably the heat plus substances, right?
Right.
So same thing with Roberto. Substances plus the heat, and it's a lot for your body to consume and deal with. Okay, so I hope I never get the news about you going through that. Okay, please stay safe. God bless. We'll talk soon. Okay?